Hello.
Hello, good evening.
Good evening. How are you?
I'm doing great, thanks. I have a warm cup of chamomile tea with honey.
Uh,
Mm. Have you had your dinner yet?
No,
Really?
because yes, was what? When uh, I finish my work or
Uh-huh. When I
go
finished
out,
work.
when I finish work,
Hmm.
Sergio and the kids they picked me up,
Uh-huh.
and then we went to the supermarkets for some
Some mayo?
mayo,
Hmm.
for made some atún and a tuna sandwich.
Okay, tuna sandwiches. All right. Sounds nice.
Because my mother-in-law sent us a box with Doritos, Sabritas, Takis,
Bravo.
some blessings.
Some blessings from the other side.
Uh-huh. And we love to eat those Takis and Doritos with tuna sandwich.
Oh, wow. Okay. Okay, that's
Mm.
nice. Um, I don't think I've ever had that combination. I mean, specific combination, tuna sandwich and um, chips. I mean, do you have any favorites yourself?
Yes, the flaming hot.
Uh-huh. Anything that's flaming hot?
No, Doritos and Sabritas.
Uh-huh. Hmm. All right. Um, yeah. I, I think I prefer Sabritas rather than Doritos if they're flaming hot. But if they're not, I would rather have Doritos, I think.
We love
Mm,
Doritos and Sabritas.
yeah. Um, all right. So, however, you haven't had your sandwich yet?
No, yet.
Okay, not yet. Uh-huh. Because you've just arrived from the supermarket or? Okay,
Mm-hmm.
I see. I see.
Yes, and I
Um,
made the tuna salad.
you made the tuna and
Mm-hmm.
now Sergio's preparing the sandwiches?
Uh-huh.
Okay, great. Yeah, I can see. Well, I can see him preparing the takis. Everyone's saying hello. Hey. All right, great. Um, okay, great. So, well, uh, you know that yesterday we were going over, details with CELPIP.
Mm-hmm.
It's a bit slow. So as soon as you have your sandwich ready, you let me know and we can start the section on CELPIP. Hmm. So that you can listen and you can have your food. All right?
Oh, okay.
All right? That makes sense, right? Because the
Okay.
presentation, I mean, I'm presenting the details. You're listening. You can have a sandwich.
Oh, perfect. I'm going to do a listening, and will I do that? I can eat my sandwich if you made for me, please.
Yes. So yeah, as soon as that's ready, we'll
Okay.
get into the CELPIP presentation. And well, there's a section on listening, so it'll be a good practice.
Okay.
Um, in the meantime, your today was your first day at work with the customers coming in and out.
Mm-hmm.
So how was that?
Mm-hmm.
How was that?
Ah, I was like a joke. No, joke. No.
Joke?
A hook. A hook. No. Let me do a
A quick
research.
search.
It's a quick
I
search.
I think I know what you're gonna say, but in case my mind
No, I
does it start with an H?
as a underwear hook.
Okay. Yes. Um, so does that mean that you were super busy?
No,
Okay.
and also they at the beginning they sent me to the kitchen, and
Hmm.
after
Hmm.
that I have to help in the front with the customers. and then I have to go back to the kitchen.
Okay.
Mhm,
Okay. So yeah, so you were moving in and out all day.
mhm.
Um, Compared to other business days, because you've been working there for some months now, compared to other business days, would you say that this was busier than usual?
No.
So it's just like a regular Wednesday for you. All
Mhm.
right. All right, that's interesting. Um, and so does your work today give you more clarity, um, based on the conversation we had yesterday? You were feeling a bit lost of what you were going to be doing. So no further clarity. No.
No.
Okay. And
No.
have you seen this new guy?
Sabritas. Sí, pero porque yo quería ver las otras. Ah, vale. Sorry.
Okay. Um, did you see this new guy that's working at the food truck?
Yes.
hmm Um, and who was there at the food truck before this guy came in?
No. He is going to open,
He's gonna
but
open.
uh-huh.
So it's not open yet.
No.
I see. All right. Okay. Well, hopefully it's a big success and they need more help, you know?
Yes.
So maybe you can go now. You can move into the food truck.
Mhm.
Um, do you know do you know what's on the menu for the food truck? Has that been
No.
discussed? No?
No. And I think they don't know yet.
Okay, that makes sense. I mean, it's something new for them. Mm,
Yes.
that is interesting. Um, Based on what you sell, do you have any predictions of what could be in the food truck? Because I know that there's some was it calzone what you were
Uh-huh.
selling? Yeah. So a good bet would be that they would be selling calzone. Um, Anything else, do you think?
Ah, no, I don't have idea. Ha
hmm
must be something with pork or beef or chicken. Nothing vegetarian.
Yeah, that makes sense. Nothing vegetarian. Sure. Okay. Well, well, if you can share any of your thoughts with your boss, um, maybe they'll remember you when when they open the food truck.
I hope
Um,
that.
yeah, I mean something. Maybe after it's open and you see the menu, you shouldn't take some time to analyze it. Maybe even send Sergio to buy some food and try it. So yeah, maybe if you give feedback, if
Mhm,
you have a good proposal for an idea for, some food or a dish, that should keep you on their radar for when they're
mhm,
thinking about how to make that part of the business work. Um, because they have a very successful butchery. They're thinking about expanding with the food truck. It's new for them.
mhm.
Um, so yeah, hopefully there's still an opportunity there for you later this year. hmm
Yeah.
All right. How are the kids and their schooling? Have they told you anything about their exciting adventures at school?
No, Anita was crying yesterday
Oh,
when Sergio dropped her.
oh, okay. When Sergio dropped her off.
Hmm.
Um, do you think it's just like the long break and going back after
Yeah.
such a long break?
Yes.
Uh,
Yeah, because today she was fine today.
mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Um, but for Leo, it was business as usual, like Nothing out of the ordinary. Yeah.
Yeah.
hmm Okay. Well, that's not bad. That's not bad. Um, Now, one thing that we should definitely talk about before we get into CELPIP,
Mhm.
um, because CELPIP is a long conversation. Um, hmm, what do you think we could get started on uh, related to reading? We discussed this before the break, but you had two options. So, my question for you this year in 2025 is what do you think is a good option for our reading goals?
The Bible of the flavors.
Bible of Flavors. Okay. hmm And I've already got a copy because I looked for it. I think it was that last session. Bible of Flavors. Okay. Okay. The flavor Bible. Um, is there anything from let's very quickly check the table of contents um and see what we can find that can entertain us. Um, let's have a look. Here is the book. Um, so the book is basically divided into three big chapters. Chapter number one is flavor. Chapter number two is great cooking. And chapter number three is flavor matchmaking. Okay.
Mhm.
Um, do you th what do you think about chapter one versus chapter two? Chapter one is flavor, learning to recognize the language of food. And chapter two is great cooking, communicating via the language of food. Mm,
Mm. Sounds interesting.
uh-huh. Which one do you think sounds more interesting? Is it flavor or great cooking?
Great cooking.
hmm All right, makes sense. So here's chapter two. Um, Let me look for something. Very early in the chapter, it says how to make food taste great. Let's see if this is not too big. hmm The first is understanding the essence of the moment, occasion, weather, essence of ingredients, seasonality, taste. Okay, so this is page 60, and this is page 51. So 10 pages. All right, great. So I'm going to make a note of this, and then probably tomorrow I'll tell you how and we're going to be reading. And we're
Okay.
going to be using some time from our classes to read because that's why we're meeting every day, so that you can have your regular English practice beyond just speaking.
Okay.
So, but I think that should be tomorrow. So let me just make a note, page 51 to 60. So you have that ready as well with your book. Here it is. Um, Reading. Okay, reading, and that is page 51 to 60. All right, then. So, do you have your sandwich ready?
Mhm.
Okay, great. So we're gonna get started with CELPIP so you can have a You can have a chance to have your nice dinner. Um, do you know what fine dining is? Fine dining?
No.
Um, it's when you have very nice, very fancy food, like at an expensive restaurant. Hmm
Okay. You
So
say
today,
fine dinner?
fine dining. Hmm
Five dining. Okay.
Fine dining. So today you will be fine dining. All right, good.
I only miss my coronita.
Oh, yeah. Do they sell any? Like,
Yeah.
r- is it popular? Do you know if
Mm-hmm.
it's popular? Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. So I think that a coronita and some lime would be nice, right?
Mm-hmm.
hmm So here's my presentation. You can go ahead. So don't worry, I'll be doing the speaking.
Okay.
And here it is. Reading. Um, reading. Well, yeah, let's start with reading. hmm Actually, the first test we did was reading.
Mm-hmm.
So, in terms of the test format, we've already seen that this is a computer delivered four skills test of general English, not academic, not business, not specialized in any way. So, the reading section is 55 to 60 minutes. This is in the this is in the this is in the category of the shorter reading exams. Um, the Cambridge exams are for B2, the reading is 1 hour and 15 minutes. For C1, which is advanced, the reading is 1 hour and 30 minutes. All right.
Mm-hmm.
So both the B2 and the C1 have reading and use of English, which basically checks your level of grammar and vocabulary. So CELPIP is only reading. You only read. They're not checking your grammar, they're not checking your vocabulary. You can see your grammar and vocabulary in writing. So reading is just reading. And it is 15 to 30 to 35 minutes shorter than other exams. Okay, so
Mm-hmm.
it's less torture for the reading test. Now, as you already know, you will find the passage or the text on the left side of the screen. Okay, now your instructions and your work area where you answer the questions are on the right side.
Mm-hmm.
So your screen is split in half, so where you can see side to side text and questions. All right. Now, this is in order to avoid scrolling up and down and up and down and up and down. Now, there is still a level of scrolling, but when you scroll the text, the questions do not move. So you can still see the text and the questions on the same screen. Mhm.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Again, one of the resources and advantages of taking a computer delivered test is that you'll be able to see the time at all times. Time is not something that you need to decipher by looking at the clock on the wall, nor is it something that you need to ask for. So it doesn't interrupt your reading. Take a very quick glance and go back to your reading. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
And this does not show you the time because it is not a clock. It is a countdown timer. So you only see the time that is left
Mm-hmm.
from 50 to 30 to 10 minutes, etc.
Mm-hmm.
And this is something that will be the same for this reading exam and the IELTS reading exam. The texts and the questions get harder and harder and harder the more you progress. This is the most natural design of a test that has to go from um, basically has to go from A2 to B1 to B2 and higher.
Mhm.
To check people of all levels of English, you need to give them opportunities at all levels. Okay?
Mhm.
So it is completely normal that the first passages are easier, you finish faster, you feel more confident. When you check your scores, you get more correct answers. It is completely normal for that to be the experience of the first passage. And when you get to the final passage of the test, it's normal that you feel that it is harder, that it takes much more time, that you get less correct answers. That is the design of the exam. All right.
Mhm.
So just to remember that. Now, this is an example of a test. As mentioned, here's the screen. All of the elements that we mentioned are right here.
Mhm.
You have the passage, you have the instructions and the work. You have the timer here at the top, etc., etc. You see that you have the scrolling bar that's
Mhm.
on the side. Here you can move up and down. In this scenario, it's for the questions because the letter fits perfectly in the screen. The questions, however, are longer, so you scroll up and down. Um, Now, here's a question for you. The question's at the top. It says, how should you spend your time during a reading part? Es decir, tell me what your mm, tell me what strategies you use to do this exercise. What's the first thing that you do? What do you do next? What do you do at the end? What is your strategy? And don't worry if the answer seems very obvious. This is like to understand or to become aware, más consciente, of how you do reading in the context of an exam and to see if there is a way to improve your strategy.
First, read the paragraph,
Hmm.
then read all the questions,
Hmm.
and then maybe start to answer
Yeah.
one by one. And
Uh-huh.
if if I'm not sure, I go back to the text to read again, maybe just that part.
Hmm. Okay, great. Yeah, basic. In essence, you have the right strategy. Um, so the first thing that you should do is just check the screen, like globally.
Mhm.
So this seems very obvious because you do it naturally, automatically. But when I say check the screen, it means to see, for example, and this can happen. You look at the text and you think that the full text is on the screen.
Mhm.
And maybe after 5 or 6 minutes, you suddenly say, uh-oh, there's a scrolling bar. Oh no, the text is longer. Okay?
Mhm.
So the first thing that you should do, and actually, I'll show you that right here. The first thing that you should do um, is preview the text screen. So just very, very quickly look at the screen. to make sure you understand how long the text is and how many questions that you need to answer. Then you should, dice, skim the passage. Now, skimming means to read, but it means to read quickly. So basically, here the instruction is yes, first thing you need to do is read the text, but read it as quickly as you can. And quickly doesn't mean that you read slow. Quickly means that you don't stop. Okay? Because slow reading is when you stop and you say, esta palabra no la conozco. Or you say, this is very interesting. I didn't know this about Canada. No. Skimming or reading quickly means that you read without stopping. Don't stop, don't stop, don't stop. You don't understand the word, doesn't matter. You don't understand the sentence, doesn't matter. You just read, read, read. Now, very good. You suggested that after reading, you go to the questions. So you read the questions. You don't answer them yet, you just read them. Now, you go back to the text and now you scan. Now you read a little bit slower, but only certain sections of the text based on the question, based on what you can remember from the structure of the text. So if they ask you about the time, there's only one paragraph in this text when they mention time, and that is the third paragraph. So you may not remember what the exact time was because you were reading quickly, but at least you know that in the third paragraph, you have the time and in no other paragraph. So that's why it's important to read first, but it's also important to read quickly because you can still come back and check the text, okay? Now, the final part of the strategy is actually to answer all the questions. Doesn't matter if you don't know the answer, if you didn't find it. Doesn't matter if you don't understand the question or don't understand the text. If the exam is multiple choice, that is a blessing, una bendición. Because multiple choice tests are the only tests that give you at least one chance to do the Dean Marin, or in English we say a Hail Mary, un Ave Maria, a Hail Mary. So answer all of the questions. Doesn't matter how confident you feel, answer all of the questions. And if you look at the time and you see you have 2 minutes remaining, that's when you go back to the question that you left unanswered and choose the best answer. When you see you have 1 minute left, you don't even have time to choose the best answer. You just have to choose something, even if it's random. Because one in 4 is better than 0 in 4. So that's the last part of the reading strategy. Answer all the questions. Now, let's look at this example. This question says, Adam now lives in, and you have 4 options. Where can you find the answer to this question? Is the text clear enough? Can you actually read the text or not?
Yes.
Is it too small? Okay.
No, I can.
Okay, great. So where in this letter can you find the answer of where Adam lives?
In the second.
Excellent. Yeah, in the second paragraph. You did that blazingly fast, como rayo.
Okay.
That is skimming. That is skimming. Okay? So this is a real life example of your ability to skim read. Okay?
Mhm.
You didn't care about what the text said until you found some information that relates to where Adam lives, where he moved. Mhm. Now,
Ponlo allá. Sorry.
based on the information in the second paragraph, what is the correct answer to this question? Um,
Gl- Gloucester?
in, mm, I don't know how to pronounce that, but in Gloucester, yes, suena bien. Um, hmm, what is the
No.
importance of those two prepositions?
Yeah.
Hmm.
You know what happened? I it was a quickly scam.
Yeah, exactly. And that's all right. You scan quickly, but then when you need to answer, you go back, you read
Hmm.
a little bit slower.
Yes.
Perfect. So
Downtown.
he lives in the downtown area. Okay?
Mhm.
Excellent. Now, here is something that is worth analyzing, que vale la pena analizar. When you have a multiple choice exam, you have one right answer. Obviously, one of them is right. And obviously, that means that two of them, pardon, three of them are wrong. Mhm.
Mhm.
Now, even though that is true, what happens is still very interesting. In Gloucester is wrong because it contradicts information. Near McLeod Street is interesting because McLeod Street is mentioned, but in a very different context. McLeod Street, in this case, is what we call a distractor. It's just
Mhm.
there. And if your reading skills are not very strong, like below six, like four or three, you might be tempted to choose that as an answer just because it's there. And
Mhm.
that is wrong because the information does not help us reach that conclusion. Now, the last one is outside the city. Now, the problem with outside the city is that, well, it's not even mentioned in the text. Okay? So, this one is wrong simply because the information is not there.
Mhm.
And those are the four types of answers in multiple choice. One is definitely right because you can find the information. One is definitely wrong because you can find the information and it is contradictory.
Mhm.
A third one is there as a distractor. There's some information, but it does not answer the question. And the fourth and final is wrong because it's not even in the text. Okay?
Mhm.
And because it's not in the text, it's not the easiest one to disqualify. Sometimes it's the hardest one because you're reading and reading, donde dice city, donde dice city, donde dice
Uh-huh.
city, and it's just making you lose time. Okay?
Mhm.
So it seems very obvious when you know the answers and you say, yeah, this one is not even mentioned. But in the
Mhm.
test, under pressure and you're nervous, sometimes it's the worst option because it has you reading and reading and reading.
Mhm.
Okay? All right, great. So, um, what you're going to be doing um, unconsciously, sin darnos cuenta, is you're going to be identifying information about topic. Mhm. or sometimes more specific information like details like time or places. Sometimes it's information that's harder to find, like maybe the attitude the author has. Mhm. So maybe the author is writing about, I don't know, um, social networks, social media. And maybe the author has a negative view on social media. Now, the author never writes, I don't like social media. But you can infer, se infiere, based on how the author qualifies social media. So you will be reading for general meaning, specific information, and sometimes to infer information. Okay. Now, you do this automatically. You don't need to force yourself to change from one to two to three. You do this automatically, but it is very helpful that you identify that this is what your brain is doing in the background. Okay.
Mhm.
So, what you can help your brain to do in this case is reading the overall text to understand a main idea, or reading only very specific details, like maybe only one line or three words or even one word. And also making assumptions, asumir cosas, or drawing conclusions, sacar conclusiones, based on what you read. Okay? Now, again, here's a strategy. This is something that we are going to practice. Um, and this is what our training is about. Mhm. Because we can read things that have nothing to do with CELPIP. We could read a short article about cooking, and we can still apply a lot of these strategies. For example, when you read something, try to skim through the text quickly. If you're reading for the test, it's going to help you understand the general idea, but also to understand how the text is organized. Now, if you're not reading for the exam, it's also helpful to see if, for example, one of the first things that you can do when you read an article and you skim is to see if the article is actually interesting enough for you to spend more time reading. Uh-huh. Or if you're looking for an answer in a text online, you can very quickly skim to see if that text has the answer. Because if it doesn't, then you close it, you open a different source. So skim the main text, try to understand the general idea, then read the questions, try to find the answers in the text. Mhm. Now, here's something very important. This is something we have not discussed. Try to look for paraphrase. Es decir, try to look for your answer, but in different words. Mhm. Not the exact same words, but different words. Same idea, different words.
Mhm.
Now, so this one's very important. This one is also important. It's a strategy. I've told you now how to identify wrong answers by contradicting information, incomplete information, or de plano, no information. As soon as you identify at least one of them, eliminate that answer, at least mentally. Because the more you reduce your options from four to three to two, the better a chance you have to get the right answer. Mhm. Um, okay. Now, Try to move quickly, checking your time. Mhm. The, the quicker you can work on the text, the higher the probability of getting a correct answer is. Because when time is over or almost over, then you just need to answer every question. Doesn't matter if you read the text, doesn't matter if you think it's right or wrong, just answer every question at the end of each part. Okay? So that's what we're going to do. Mhm. Now, any questions about the reading so far?
No.
Mhm. All right. Now, um, that's reading. We're going to go into writing. Hmm. We're going to go into writing, and that'll give us a very nice opportunity to look at your writing again. And this time, the exercise that we're going to do is we're going to correct your writing. We're going to edit it to see if we can get from band 6 to band 7 or even band 8. Of course, this is a controlled exercise because you have already read the answer, produced an answer, and I've already told you a little bit about how you can improve. So we're going to be rewriting your two answers today in class to make them better. And I've already showed you some models of those same questions, but I'm going to show you a model of your answers that have been corrected and improved. Mhm. So I'm going to show you what the ideal corrections could be to get something stronger like a band 8. Okay? So you've already done some writing. You did writing, you didn't do it on the platform, but we did it differently. I showed you the writing. But the model I showed you is like this one, where you have the instructions basically on the left side. Uh-huh. Pardon, not the instructions, the background information, like the context. And then on the right side, you have the instructions. So again, the context is on the left, but then the instructions are on the right. Um, on the platform, you have very basic editing tools. So you can write, you can erase. Uh-huh. Um, so very basic editing tools. And also, you have an automatic word count. And that's going to help you always to know how much you're writing. So you're never worried about counting words. Okay? Um, spelling is very important for CELPIP. So you have to be constantly, well, no. If you're not constantly checking, at least when you finish the test, you have to go back and check your spelling. And the
I
writing,
don't, I'm so
uh-huh.
sorry. I
Yeah,
don't
yeah.
remember what is the spelling.
Spelling is ortografía. You have to
Ah,
write
okay.
things correctly. Yes. Mhm.
Mm-hmm,
So check your spelling, check your writing.
mm-hmm.
The tasks are very short. They're very short compared to other exams. And the test is, well, it's within the range of other exams, 53 to 60 minutes, but it is a short writing test. All right. This is an example. Um, can you please read uh, the background information and the instructions? Just for yourself, you don't need to read out loud.
Okay. Okay.
Okay. So, that is an email that you should write to the manager of a restaurant. Now, in this context, should the email be formal or informal?
A little bit formal.
Hmm. A little bit formal. Yes. Um, one, it is an email of complaint. Es una queja. Okay. So you need to put it in a language where you know you're going to be, bueno, iba a decir listened to, no, pero read. Um, and it's not rude, no es grosero.
Mhm,
So also, it's directed at a person that has the position to help you. So a manager. So yes, we're going to try and write this formally. Now, look at this second question. It's a different question. So again, look at the background information, look at the instructions, okay?
mhm.
So you understand this task. This one's a little bit different.
On the bail pet, on the bail,
Undeveloped.
undeveloped.
Yes.
Mm,
So what this area, it says that is undeveloped. It means it doesn't have buildings, it doesn't have roads or streets, it doesn't
mhm,
have all the services. Develop is desarrollar, but this is in the negative because it says
mhm.
undeveloped.
Okay.
Hmm.
Mhm.
Hmm. Okay. In this situation, um, what would you choose? Option A or option B?
Option B.
Okay, option B. Um, Now, if you remember the previous writing, mhm, if you remember the previous writing, uh, the formal email to the manager, do you think that this writing should be in the format of an email or something different?
Something different because here you only have to explain why are you choose that option.
Hmm. Yeah,
And in the other email, it's like a letter
yeah.
for a person.
It's basically a letter, the previous one. Dear
Mhm,
manager, I am Anna. I came in with my family. We had dinner, blah, blah, blah. So, yes, this one is different. So, the format is a little bit more mm, like an like an essay, como un ensayo. Now,
mhm,
an essay doesn't mean that it's complicated. It just means that it has a three-part structure: introduction, body or development, and a conclusion. It's a
mhm.
very simple structure, but it needs that structure. Hmm.
No, okay.
El hoyo pequeño que tengo en las pompis. Por, por ahí no sale por la pipí. La pipí sale por la vagina. La popó sale por el hoyo pequeño que tengo en las pompis.
You hear that?
I heard vagina.
Anita say. Mi popó sale por el hoyo
No,
pequeño.
tengo un hoyo pequeño en medio de las pompis, pero por ahí no sale la pipí. La pipí sale por la vagina. Por el hoyo pequeño que tengo en medio de las pompis, por ahí sale la popó.
Por el hoyo pequeño.
So both of them are discovering their organs.
Yes. Both of them are discovered organs. Discovery.
Uh-huh. Yeah. At first it was Leo with pictures.
Picture.
And then Anita with her reflection, yeah? Um, it's always fascinating to be around children,
Yes.
because they're always curious and they're always discovering. Mhm.
Yes.
Um, so how old is Anita?
3.5, like almost 4 in March.
Almost 4. Wow. And she's realized that poop doesn't appear magically, right? But so yeah, very interesting reflection. Um, where does poop come from?
Yeah. And Leo told me one time, I we went to the Walmart, and I was driving, and Leo told me, wait, mommy, I have to use my security belt.
Yeah. Well, in this case, it's a safety belt. Safety belt.
Okay, I have to put my safety belt because I don't want that the police take you to the jail, and after that, I don't want to my father looking another wife. So it's better that you wait better.
Oh, wow. So, yes, association, cause and effect. Um, so a chain of events that starts with wearing your seatbelt. Ese safety belt también se llama seatbelt. It starts with seatbelt, but it ends with him having a very different family in the future.
Yes, yes. I don't want to have another mom.
Oh,
Wait.
yeah. Okay. Well, good. He's worried about the consequences of his actions.
Yeah, because he knows that here is so important to go
Yes,
by the
yes.
rules.
Well, I mean, um, hopefully you're able to visit Mexico, after you fix
Yeah.
everything with migration. But in any case, Leo's going to be growing up in Canada. So when he goes on vacation for his 18th birthday, he's going to be mind blown about the crazy things that we do in Mexico.
Yes. Yeah.
All right.
And yeah.
Well, um, children keep life exciting and I'm sure
Yeah.
very difficult.
Yeah.
Um, hmm. Well, we didn't talk about this in a lot of detail, but I wrote a report for your writing. And to write the report, I used these criteria. I want you to look at the category and the factors for each category, okay? And while you're reading, I want you to reflect and say, well, I think I can do this well. Or I think that I'm terrible at this. Okay? So just reflect on those two criteria. Some of them are going to be in the middle where you say, well, I don't know about this. So just read through them maybe one time And then the second time you tell me, this is good, this is bad, this is good, this is bad.
Bad number of ideas, bad quality of ideas, bad organization of ideas, bad examples and supporting details.
Oh no. Remember you got a 6, huh?
Yeah, but after saw the example,
Well, okay. Yes.
uh,
I understand. What else?
no, everything bad.
Well, there was no problem with the word count.
Okay, at least.
There was no problem with relevancy or relevance, meaning that your ideas are a direct response to the situation there in the writing. And you're not writing about, oh, one time in Mexico, this happened, blah, blah, blah. So you're staying on point. I think in that regard, completeness is present. For every instruction, there's a sentence or two sentences. It reflects directly. Now, of course, if you are comparing your writing to the models, then there's a lot of things that can change and that you can improve. I'm going to highlight, I think, what I think are the easiest things to change. I think format and paragraphing, because you do one email and one essay, entre comillas, porque no es tal cual un essay, but one email, one essay. So after you do one exam, two exams, three exams, you find that all of the model answers have the same structure. So you can correct format and paragraphing very easily. Because find your writings complete, then the number of ideas is very close to perfect. Now, you can add complementary ideas, for example, and the more writing practice you have, the better the quality of the ideas. Because you read examples, you write you do your writing, I give you feedback. So the more you do that, the better the quality of the ideas. And I think your ideas are already organized. I think they're already organized. Now, yes, I think that you can add more examples and more details to your ideas. So, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Perfect. I've highlighted 5 that I think you can improve relatively easily. Yes, we're going to work on everything else. But in probably 1 month, you can improve 100% format, completeness, number of ideas, and examples. Maybe quality of ideas will take just a little bit more. And then we have 8 more months to work on everything else. All right. So not bad. Not bad. And we're going to stop right there because we finished with writing. Excellent. Now let's go back to our writing. I'm going to send you a link. This link has your writing document. Okay? So what I want you to do is have a look at your answers. So I'm going to send you that. Okay. And
Siéntate bien, te vas a caer. Ana, siéntate bien.
¿Se acuerdan que su mamá está en clase? So, I've sent you your document.
Okay. Okay.
Okay. So, on your document, the first 2 pages are the most important pages because you have the instruction and your answer. So, please take some time to read the first 2 pages, well, after the cover, so you remember the instruction and also remember what you wrote. Okay? When you finish reading both, then let me know and we can talk about how you can improve.
Okay. Okay.
Mhm. Okay, great. Now, if you please go to the next page, in the next 2 pages, you will see 2 tables. Those 2 tables talk about the first table talks about your score, and the second table talks about what you can do to improve. So if you go to the second table, y eso es la página 5, I'm giving you strategies to improve on the first writing, the letter. So if you read the table on page 5, que dice key skills and strategies, if you look at that table and you compare it to your writing for task 1, it's going to give you an idea of how you can improve. So please take some time to read the table, look at the strategies and the examples, and compare it to what you wrote in task 1. This is going to help us prepare for task 1, okay?
Okay.
Okay, very good.
I have a
So,
question.
yes.
What does mean address all tasks fully?
Address means respond to or attend. Entonces, como responde o atiende a. So in this
Okay.
case, it says, um, no olvides atender todas las partes de la instrucción,
Mm,
cubrir todo lo que te pide. Ujú.
okay.
Um, address address means dirección, right? In a different context. Entonces, address means dirigirse. Ujú. Cuando te diriges a los padres de familia de la escuela, ¿no? A lo
Okay.
mejor un maestro o una directora. Eso es address. Me
Okay.
dirijo a ustedes para informarles que. So that's why we use the word address, which means dirección, because address as a verb means dirigirse a. But in this
Okay.
case, to communicate. Yeah. Okay. Now, based on that, mhm,
Descansa.
Adiós.
adiós, bye bye. También Leo. Bye.
Ya, acuéstate.
Adiós.
Adiós. Buenas noches.
¿Me dejas poner un audífono del tuyo? ¿No se escucha?
No, yo me te acostar.
Si no, no le
Ay. Algún día le voy a dar clase y no va a querer.
Oh, please, please.
Y no
Dice,
va a
algún día
querer.
Villanueva y me dice, ¿me puedo poner un audífono de los tuyos? Y me anda buscando y le dije, no, ya te accedo. Y dice Carlos, algún día le voy a tener que dar clase y no va a querer.
Sooner than you expect.
Sooner than I expect. Yeah, he's getting very big, huh?
Yes.
He's growing
He's
up
almost
fast.
7.
He's almost 7, yeah. Um, okay, great. So here's what I want you to do. You can use this document if you feel it helps you, or you can use a different document. You can even write in pen and paper if you want, because this is not exam practice. This is a reflective task to help us identify what our areas of opportunity are and see that with this help, if we can improve to, let's say, band 8. Um, I gave you some ideas or some pointers. Um, I do want to show you one last thing. I want to show you a very strong, bueno, eso de very strong es relativo. I want to show you a writing at band 7, which is one band above. Okay? And you have already read this one, but I'm going to show it to you again to show you how you can improve one band. It's not very different from yours. But actually, look at this, and I'm going to read some of the notes that I made for you. Para la banda uno, writing an email, puse. Por ejemplo, use specific details. Y ahí mi ejemplo fue, describe the book the kids loved and their reactions. Okay? Eso incluso no lo hace esta persona. Ahora estoy dudando. Te voy a dar el mejor modelo disponible. This is a level 12. Okay. Now, you don't have to copy like the very fancy English, but rather the approach, el acercamiento. So, una de mis sugerencias fue, describe the book the kids loved and their reactions. So, can you identify a place where this student does that?
Okay. He
Mhm.
explained about
Yes.
the book.
Yes, yes. So
Mm.
he or she is doing more than the minimum. Okay.
Mhm.
So in this case, even if you respond the answer to the answer, pardon, respond to the question directly, you still won't get all the potential for the
Mm.
highest band possible. And one of my suggestions was precisely that. He said, describe the book the kids loved and the reactions. A second suggestion is use synonyms. Let's look for synonyms here. Um,
Mm.
mm, a ver. Tucu, 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 tu. So we can focus on the book and the children. So the books are clever and funny,
Delirious.
delirious, the children. Ah, mira, laughter, funny. Y no solamente eso, chuckling es como carcajada. It's a different way of saying laughter. So
Mm.
here I have an example of three words that mean very similar things, but they're three different words: funny, laughter, and chuckling. So that's one example of synonyms. Um, Grammar patterns. So I wanted to ask if it's possible. Um, mhm. Yeah, I wanted to ask if it's possible.
And what is the correct?
Here, for that, ¿cómo le hago para no? Aquí voy a poner abajo corrections. Hay que preservar eso para cuando ya saques banda 8 puedas compararte a ti misma.
Mm.
Mm, ok, corrections, pero aquí no es. Es acá arriba. Chin. Ahí está, corrections. Ok, so vamos a copiarla. Here, a partir de aquí, este I'm nos falta un apóstrofe.
Mm.
Ujú. Mm, y el de, for that reason, I wanted to ask if it's possible for you to visit us. Aquí es nuevamente lo mismo. If it's possible con apóstrofe. If it is possible. Mhm.
Just
For
that?
that reason. Hmm?
Just that?
Well, that's a very important one. Now, the problem with this, and yes, it's just that. The problem with this is
Oh
that
no.
if you repeat that a lot, mhm, it becomes an important problem. Mhm.
Okay.
Um, and, perdón, te había dicho desde acá, ¿verdad? Es que acá le falta la mayúscula. I is always capital. I
Ah.
wanted to ask if it's possible. Mhm. So there's two mistakes there.
Oh
There
no.
are
I
small.
ask. I'm so.
Mhm.
I'm sorry. I ask you because I am surprised that
Uh-huh. Yeah.
I have only those mistakes.
Ah, well, this is a very good structure. For that reason, comma, I wanted to ask if it's possible for you to visit us. That is an amazing grammar structure. I'm going to
Oh.
read it again. Every time I pause, that is like one connective block, como Legos, que los vas sumando. For that
Mhm.
reason, I wanted to ask if it's possible for you to visit us. So that is a
Oh.
great structure. You have a lot of good things in your text. That's why you're getting a 6, obviously. But there are
Okay.
a lot of small answers that we need
Mhm.
to fix, and we need to fix quickly, no?
Mhm.
Quickly in the context of our plan. So, um, y por ahí, ya que estamos por ahí, we are going to be, mhm, we are going to be so grateful. Okay, so there I corrected three things. I want you also to identify maybe one or two things that you can still correct.
Mhm.
Um, okay, let's just finish this. Maintain a formal tone. So, dear autora. Y una despedida que son de las que nos aprendemos así simplemente. Yours sincerely, yours truly, kind regards. Okay, good. And
What
finally,
does mean
yes,
you're sincerely?
sincerely.
Sincerely?
Sincerely. Well, it's an old closing. Se escucha anticuado, pero por eso se escucha formal, porque significa tuya, ¿no? Como cuando besaban la carta. Pero no se hace en el sentido romántico, pero dice tuya como con sinceridad, ¿no?
Mhm.
Que hace alusión a esas cartas más románticas, pero ya no se ve de esa forma. Al igual que decimos dear y no es en ningún sentido afectivo. Es
Mhm.
nada más dear, gerente del restaurante donde tuve pésimo servicio, ¿no?
Oh, okay.
Es dear porque sí y yours sincerely porque sí. Ujú. So that is my suggestion. Now, here's something really, really crazy. You are going to rewrite this text. Mhm. While you rewrite this, I'm going to be showing you an example of a 12. This is an amazing example. So you can, again, this is not a test. So you can look, you can copy the format, the structures, the vocabulary, the ideas. I just want you to make it better. And the challenge is teniendo una segunda oportunidad, teniendo un supermodelo, el reto va a ser, podrás escribir uno mejor que yo, porque yo ya te reescribí la carta. Ujú.
Okay.
So you have a lot of resources available. This model, and I'm going to give you some time to work on that.
But the same letter?
The same letter, exactly the
Okay. I can hear you. ¿Se te conectó a ti mi audio? Ah, no,
Hello,
I
hello.
can hear you.
Okay. Okay, great. So the challenge is I have already rewritten your answer, your ideas, but using my English. So here's what we're going to do. Let me just check the time again. I'm going to give you 26 minutes. No es cierto, miento. I'm going to give you 27 minutes. So I'm going to give you 27 minutes, not to write a new answer. Ojo, you need to rewrite your answer, but you need to do it the best you can possibly can. Okay. In the meantime, I have already rewritten a pro version of your same letter. We're going to compare your second attempt with my model using your ideas. Okay. So you can use whatever app you use to write. At the end, you have to send it to my email. And when I copy yours, I will also copy mine onto your document. Okay. So um, I'll give you 2 minutes to prepare. And then I'm going to set up a timer in the meantime. It's 27 minutes in total. So when you are ready, just give me a thumbs up and I will start the time, okay?
I'm ready.
Awesome. So please start. You have 27 minutes. You're a very fast writer, so I know you're going to finish before. But when you do finish, please take 2 more minutes to reread your text and see if you can find any mistakes, okay?
Okay.
Okay, so you may begin. I will let you know when you have 5 minutes before the end of the test, all right? Good luck.
It's okay if I do more words.
It's okay if you do more words. Ay, debí haber anotado el número de palabras. Let me just check how many words you can write
Mhm.
based on your original response. Word count. You have 178 words, so you can write about 20, 22 more words. So you can still write more words. And don't worry about the word count, because I think you can do 10% over. So you can do 220 without that being a problem. Okay? So don't worry about the words.
My brain is dry.
Your brain is dry.
I don't have ideas because I don't want to write the same as I
Hmm.
read it.
Yeah, you shouldn't write the same.
So
Um,
I don't have another ideas.
what you can do is if you look at the Zoom screen, I'm sharing the model. So have a look at the model and see if there's anything that you can steal, you know, like you can adapt into your text. Okay. So yeah, don't worry about the ideas. Again, this is not a test. So look at the model and add one more thing. Okay. Remember, you have 22 words that you can still use in your text.
Okay.
So try that.
I already sent you the email.
Perfect. I'm gonna load up my Gmail account and Anna. Okay. I'm copying and pasting. And I'm gonna share my screen and you're gonna have some fun with this. Without formatting, nope. Normal text. Oh, let's see. Bueno. Okay, so you should be able to see my screen and your text, right? All right, good. So the first thing I see is that, and let's look at the table I showed you earlier. Ay, ay, ay. This is not it. This one, yes. The first thing I see, you have much better paragraphing.
Okay.
Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I mean, some of them are single lines, but there's a big difference between that and this. Está muy panzoncito este texto, right? So it needs to be spread out like this. Okay.
Okay.
Okay. What else can I see? Well, I think there's a lot of liveliness, like with It's a Complete Coincidence. There's more detail. My students are learning to or starting to learn to write and read, and I think it's a pretty good option because it's easy to get involved into the magical story. Okay, so a bit more detail. And I was correct. My kids are anxious to learn and read again and again by themselves your book. For that reason, if it's possible for you to visit us, we can do some activities, get a themed breakfast about the book. It'll be great for us. Thank you so much in advance. Da, 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 da. Warm regards. Okay, great. So now, I want you to take some time to read my model and tell me what you think. No cabe. I mean, all right. So read my model and tell me what you think.
More details.
Yeah, more details. And I did not use any advanced vocabulary. So the vocabulary is very modest. There's nothing fancy. And I did this on purpose so you can see that you don't need to use vocabulary to impress people. You just need to have a variety of ideas and connect them in a way that makes a lot of sense. And you can go from a 6 very easily to an 8. And I only say easy because, again, I'm not using any advanced vocabulary. And you are already writing complex grammar forms. I want to remind you about this one. Okay, hasta aquí, porque después hay unos errorcitos. But all of that is great. How you connect multiple ideas together and complex ideas. Um, so the grammar I'm using is not very different from the grammar that you showed me you can use. The vocabulary is pretty much the same as the level that you're using. I just used adore, que fue mi sugerencia, como unos sinónimos. I used, let's find more synonyms, inspired. De hecho, ahí puedo seguir mejorando, ¿no? En vez de inspired aquí, es que yo usé motivated, por eso usé inspired. Well, don't worry about that. But yeah, so, and I did the same thing as you. I divided it into more paragraphs. And let me highlight some things. Uno, el uso de títulos. That's important in English. So, dear Mr. Henry, that is important. So I'm going to highlight that in yellow. Ojo con el orden de esta frase. I hope this email finds you well. I hope this email you find well. Okay. Por aquí un at, ¿no? Versus. Aquí no, aquí lo corregiste. From. Pero acá decía in Mill Street. Bueno, in Mill Street Avenue. Entonces aquí usé at. I'm writing to invite you to visit our classroom. El adored en vez de loved para darle variedad en email. Mis sinónimos de motivate, inspire. Adjetivos como wonderful. Pero bueno, tú también tenías. Y acá una estructura. We can do some activities with the children. ¿Y qué puse yo? We could. So aquí lo que resalto es la estructura de could. Could, in this context, is more formal because here you're talking about a hypothetical, a possibility. And when you talk using the past for the future, you're being more formal. So you're not assuming that the author is going to say, yes, of course, I'm going to be right there. You're assuming that they are an important person, a busy person, and they're doing that out of the kindness of their heart, and maybe not because you're going to pay them a lot of money. So, we could have a fun breakfast. That could is important to show formality. The students would be very happy. We're using that as a hypothetical. Podrían si fueses tan amable de visitarnos. So that is something that in this type of example or scenario is very important. And look at all the occasions where we used could. So every time you did not use could is one opportunity that we did not use to show that we have a strong level of grammar. So that is very important in this scenario. Ahí está un would, if this would be possible. Si fuera posible, si podría ser posible. And we're being formal and we're being polite when we use this. What else? What else? Okay, good. Other things we can do to improve. I'm going to show you here the samples. Vamos a ver qué podemos mejorar tanto tú como yo. What grade are the students in? First grade. Ok, sí lo tenemos. Why the children like the writer's book? Excited about the story and the characters. Podría ser mejor, sí. Aquí. Dice, the explanation of what the writer can do is a bit vague. Como dar una plática, pero ¿sobre qué? ¿Qué propusimos nosotros? We can plan an activity related to the story. Here we can give more detail. We can plan a writing activity. We can plan a role play activity, like the children dress up as the characters. So here we're taking this feedback and applying it to our writing. Let's be a little bit more detailed and creative. ¿Qué más corrigieron aquí? Dice, the invitation is also not precise. Dice, in the coming weeks, and that is a lot of time. So we can still improve by saying, please let me know if this would be possible and we can plan the visit according to your schedule. Please let me know if this would be possible in the next week, por ejemplo. And we can plan the visit according to your schedule. On Friday next week. So these smaller details, you don't usually think about these details when doing an English test, but CELPIP is different from other English tests. Okay? So here, things like detail and creativity actually help you get a higher score.
Okay.
You want the letter to feel as realistic as possible, not just to use the vocabulary and the grammar and the punctuation, but actually to write in a way that it feels authentic and it feels that you can write a real letter in a real scenario. Okay? All right, great. Now, we're not going to have time, but we can start looking at task 2. Okay? So please read. No, we've already read this. I'm just going to read your feedback. So for the essay or the response to the survey question, nuevamente, use 1 paragraph per reason. So menos panzón, como más estirado. Okay? More detail in the sense of explanations. Okay? More precise vocabulary. En vez de decir time, you can say schedule or availability. Here's an important grammar mistake. Dice, we don't will. Acá dice, we don't will. We will not. Or we won't. Okay? We won't have enough time. So that's an important mistake. No decimos don't will or don't can. Con modales decimos cannot, will not. All right. More examples. Mention a past vacation as a positive example. El tono. En el tono funciona para darnos más puntos. Be polite, but firm, ¿no? I strongly believe. Okay? So you're being firm in your position, but you're being polite. And, well, check grammar and check spelling. Okay? So what we're going to do is the following. Como no da tiempo, I'm going to show you my example of the writing, okay? So that way you can quickly see how you can improve. Is that okay? Let's do that.
Mhm.
Um, okay, just give me 1 second. Mm, Aquí abajo le voy a poner teachers sample. Y normal text, paste without formatting. Okay. So here we have better paragraphing. Here's one big paragraph, here's three. Okay. So now read this text and tell me what else you can identify that helps you improve your answer.
Mhm.
Okay. Did you find anything else?
Well, more synonyms, more different words, more details.
Yeah, a little bit more details. I didn't use a lot of details. I didn't use vocabulary that you don't understand.
Mhm.
Um, and I corrected some grammar structures, of course. But I think it's very simple. I mean, all the ideas are simple. It's not excessively creative, and I used all of your ideas. So my point with these two exercises is to say, no, Anna, actually, you have a lot of green ticks. Tienes más palomitas. You have more than what you think you have. The only thing that we need to work on is one, we need to look at more models. If you look at more, you will see that it's not difficult to go from 6 to 8.
Mhm.
It is in your possibilities. It just needs a lot of guidance and a lot of practice. Okay.
Mhm. Yes.
All right. Excellent. So uh, tomorrow we're going to be doing some writing exercises, and we're going to be looking at listening for CELPIP. Okay.
Okay.
So no homework, but if you can please have your book, the
Mhm.
fly, the Flavor Bible, tomorrow at our class time.
Mhm.
Mhm. Because we're going to be doing a little bit of reading every session. Okay,
Okay.
15 minutes approximately of reading. So please be ready with your book um,
Sure.
by right next to you. Okay.
Mhm.
All right. Well, very good. I think we're going to stop right there. And great. So have yourself a good night. Good luck
Thank
tomorrow
you.
at work, and I'll meet you again in the evening. All right?
Okay.
Yeah. Did you
Thank.
finish your sandwich?
No, only
Oh,
my chips.
only your well, that's the best part, isn't it? All right. So I'm gonna let you have dinner. Okay.
Thank you so much.
All right. Have a good night. Bye.
Thank you. You too. Have a good night.
Bye.